Hello everyone, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Pixel 3D. In the area we can find the town of Peeg. We find the center of it, the military base of Kleine Brogel, the Dommelvallei, and we can see that there's a lot of agriculture in the area. If we look at the Ferraris map, we see that in this area there was a lot of heathland with a part arable land that was directly intended for human nutrition. Furthermore, we also see that there are some forests present, such as pine and broadleaf forests, and that they are mainly around the river the Dommel. Much of the area is now dominated by agriculture, as can be seen in the yellow on the first map. And within the agriculture, we can see that most of the land goes to grass for livestock, but also livestock's feed has a large share in this story. This can be seen by the green and yellow colors on the second map. Farms are increasingly demanding land to meet the human needs, to graze their cattle, but also to provide fodder. In recent years, we have seen a huge increase in the agriculture area as a whole, but also per farm. Furthermore, there is also a large increase in the number of cattle per farm. In Peer itself, we see that 61.5% of the area is used for agriculture. Most of this agriculture consists of animal farming and cattle feeding. This is a huge amount of land that is taken up, and this also involves a huge amount of water use in this area. Just to produce a hamburger, we would need 3.61 square meters per person land. For a beef hamburger of 70 grams, this equals 1085 liters of water. If we assume that for 1 kilogram of beef, we need 50,500 liters of water. An alternative way to get our proteins must be found. If we assume that we need an average of 0.8 grams a kilogram of body fat per day in proteins per person, we need 376,426.544 kilograms of proteins for all inhabitants of Peer. Insects can be a very good alternative and are rich in proteins. In Belgium, insects can be sold for human consumption, and this has already been done. For example, they are already sold in burgers and snacks, but we can go into this further. If we look at this issue purely theoretical, and we would make calculations based on the number of proteins per insect and the space we need for that species, can we say that with grasshoppers we only need 10.19 hectares and with worms only 3.11 hectares compared to the 4,711 hectares currently in use? In a new situation where insect agriculture is addressed, we gain land and water. It uses, roughly speaking, 2,000 times less water and 10 times less space to do insect farming compared to the traditional way. In addition, it has the advantage of being less polluting. Current agriculture is also a threat to wild insects. Due to mainly intensive agriculture and pesticides, the insect population in general has declined dramatically in recent years. Moths, butterflies, beetles, and bees have had a hard time. With the new way of agriculture, I want to create a safe environment again, also for the wild insects. The main idea that comes out of this is to cut back more and more on traditional farming and put more and more into insect farming. By providing less cows and introducing insect farming, less agriculture is needed, which can lead to more biodiversity in the area. In this way, we can create a spiral. The space that is freed up can then also be used for infiltration of water by means of wadis. By collecting and infiltrating the water higher up, we also relieve the watercourses in the area. In addition, a wadi is also a way to attract more biodiversity. Insects such as dragonflies, stoneflies, and shooting moths find their place here. I also want to use the free space to bring back the heathland and its additional biodiversity. By getting back the lavender and also flowers of the heathland, we can attract more butterflies, bees, moths, and beetles. The wadis ensure the dragonflies and stoneflies also find it pleasant, but beyond that, we want to attract even more insects by using specific plants in the area. The different plants along the fields can attract beneficial insects. For example, the running beetle feeds on snails, caterpillars, worms. But by creating these plant stripes, the reduction of pesticides can be guaranteed, and if there is less and less agriculture and we plant more and more of these stripes, the system can work more efficiently and we attract a lot of biodiversity. The addition of insect hotels can also increase the number of insects, and the hotels provide a resting place in the landscape for them. This should include sufficient variations of the different insects that visit the area. One can also think of different materials and residual streams can already be used for this, like old wood or old bricks. If we combine all these aspects with recreation, we get a whole new landscape. In this way, we can make uses of existing cycling and walking networks in the area to create more interest in biodiversity and insect farming. Through recreation, various people can be attracted so that more attention is paid to the area and the system can work better. Insectopia can become a learning place for young and old, where insects can be searched for and learned about, but also a place to play in the heatland. Recreation will certainly get its place here by further exploiting the existing walking and cycling networks in the area, with more resting places along the way where picnics can be enjoyed. The concept Insectopia consists of the insect farming and possibly old farmhouses that can be reused for this, where the heatland can return and we get areas for recreation. Biodiversity is given a chance to grow and stabilize here, also by means of insect hotels scattered around the area, and the wadis that contribute to this and help with the infiltration of water. To summarize everything again, we see that current and traditional way of farming uses an enormous amount of water and land. By introducing insect farming and going further and further with this, a lot of land becomes free. This free space is ideal for water infiltration, biodiversity, recreation. This is how Insectopia is created.